Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for being here. Thanks to the O2 and the City of London. Great fight week for us. Proud to announce the biggest gate tonight in London UFC history, which is great, $2.4 million USD. Attendance was 16,602. The bonuses, fight of the night, goes to Till and Masvidal, and the performance bonuses go to Ige and Masvidal as well. Happy to take any questions from anyone in the audience.
Dave, obviously a great card, but extended a little after the main event from what we saw backstage. Can you give us any further information on what happened back there? And it seems like maybe those guys are gone at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think as much, you guys actually probably know way more than I do, considering it's probably out on a variety of platforms. I was just shown the video backstage by Randy. Looks like, altercation feeding from an interview. Not sure how it was instigated, not sure the aftermath or if any damage was done. But yeah, I mean, in situations like this sort of underscores the high quality level of our security team. What I've been told was that things were sort of handled under control, rectified fairly quickly. In situations like this, when we've had incidents like this in the past, first order of business is to make sure that the camps are separated, people go different directions, and everything's calmed down because, as we talked about before, number one priority for us, not only is, our fans when we're in a live event scenario and our athletes, but it's the staff and it's the, kind people that help us and host us in this building. So we want to make sure no one gets hurt. That's where we're at right now. Our global security team led by Steve Reed is an extremely capable bunch, and I'm sure as things progress, we'll feel, pretty confident about, next steps.
Do you know why the decision was made to not have them here? Was there any damage done, or why the decision was made not to have?
So as part of my kind of previous message, one of the orders of business is to make sure that things calm down as soon as possible. Part of that is ensuring that we get groups separated, and so it just didn't make sense to have anyone in the building, quite frankly.
Yeah, fair enough. And Masvidal, obviously, you got $100,000 in bonus money tonight. So, but I'm curious, will there be any sanctions or anything on either one of these guys?
I mean, too early to tell. We'll regroup. This has all happened in the last 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So too early to tell. I'm not sure. We'll review it. Dana's already looking at it. We'll review everything, all the details over the weekend, Monday morning, and take next steps from there. Fair
enough. Yeah, I know you don't match make, but Ben Askren was here all week saying he wanted the winner of the main event.
What did his shirt say?
Yeah, the shirt was great. Did you guys have any discussions backstage or with the matchmakers or Dana if that's a fight that you would look to make?
Listen, it seems to make sense, Dana and Hunter and Sean and Mick are very thoughtful in all of their planning. There's probably a reason why he was here. Nothing was obviously disclosed tonight. We had a role for Askren all week, and I think he wanted to be here. I think he was pretty available to most people in this room and fans at a variety of the events this week. So we'll see. It could make sense in the next few weeks. I know he's been calling for it. So I think he mentioned Chicago, which is in June, so we'll see.
Great, and last thing for me, we know we've got Sweden coming up, we've got Russia coming up.
Yep.
Can you give us an idea of what the end of 2019 holds for this market and maybe, where you might visit, how many shows, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we've mentioned before we want to be in Russia twice, and so St. Petersburg will be the first time this year. Other than that, we don't, so that'll take us to 5 events, right? Prague, London, St. Petersburg, Stockholm, Russia number 2, and then we'll likely have 1, maybe 2 more in Europe, Middle East, and Africa for 2019. Those have not been decided yet.
Just over here to your left.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, a very nasty knockout there for Darren Till in the main event. Have you got any update on his medical condition? Has he been transported to hospital?
He has, yeah. He was transported to the hospital along with Molly, Priscilla, and Nikolai, and Dominic Reyes. No update specifically on his particular situation. I'm sure we'll know in the next couple hours.
Obviously, leading on from what John said, we had the altercation backstage. Are we going to get to see Jorge in a minute?
You're not. I'll be, sadly, or thankfully, the only person that speaks to you guys tonight. An air of disappointment. Anyone else?
Yes, here.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. You just spoke about 2 more events in Europe. Is Amsterdam also a possibility?
Is Amsterdam a possibility?
Yes.
We're looking at a variety of different places, so I'll be purposely vague in my comments. We don't yet know where we're going to go for that 6th, possibly 7th event yet. We should have more news. There's a variety of places we still want to go. I mean, you know, it's our mission to make sure we're getting to all areas of this territory of Europe, Middle East, and Africa. You know, we love being in London once a year, like being in the UK more than once a year. So we'll continue to look at that, and there's other countries, both in continental Europe, Scandinavia. You know, getting to Czech Republic was fantastic. It was the first time there last month. So yeah, no definitive plan for Amsterdam or the remaining events for EMEA in 2019.
Thank you.
Hi, Dave. Over to your left.
Hey, Simon.
Hi. In between some of the fights, we had a big announcement. Michael Bisping going into the UFC Hall of Fame. I think most people in the room have been involved in covering his fights at some stage over the years. Just wondered if you could, from your personal perspective, give us a sense of just what he's contributed to the UFC over the years, and how worthy you feel he is of being inducted into the Hall of Fame this summer.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely a pioneer. You know, you put him alongside guys like Ross Pearson, like Dan Hardy. There's a long list of names, Brad Pickett, that have made a true impact on our sport in this region. I had the nice fortune of being there in LA when he won his belt, and I was standing with or watching the fight with Marshall Zelaznik, who was very close to Mike over all the years, and I've never seen anyone as elated as him. I think for a lot of people in our organization and a lot of people in British and UK MMA, this has meant a lot. And so to see him here tonight, you know, you saw the cheer he got from the crowd when he walked out, and then he sat in the front row, just beyond sort of where Lawrence was sitting. And he's a real star. I think he means a lot to people. And I think the way that his career has progressed and some of the work he's doing now, continuing to espouse, you know, the benefits and the highlights of MMA and bringing more young people and sports fans who, you know, maybe weren't that familiar with mixed martial arts. Now you see him up on the ESPN desk, and, you know, he's still representing this country so well even after he's retired. So we're all very lucky to have worked with him and continue to work with him. So I think it was a nice moment.
And given how Bisping's career went, you know, he had many setbacks along the way, you know, some very, very damaging knockouts. How valuable is his story to someone like Darren Till after a night like he had tonight? Yeah,
I mean, it's, I guess, the formula, right? Like he definitely had a number of setbacks over the years, both in the octagon and out, and I think this is a nice tale for any aspiring champion, anyone who wants to reach the pinnacle of our sport if they are facing headwinds at different points of their career. Thanks.
Dave, over here
yes,
to
sir.
your left. Could you clarify, presumably the jurisdiction of the fighters tonight, and specifically with Masvidal and Leon Edwards, comes under the ad hoc Nevada Athletic Commission, is that correct?
Yeah, because we're self-regulated.
So the event that happened was outside or inside that regulation?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. I will get back to you.
Because was it assault, in other words?
Well, I don't know that. I'm not sure about that. I mean,
that's what I mean. I'm trying to clarify whether, because it was outside almost the event, if you like, that it was, you know, after a post-fight interview, it was just in this arena.
Yep.
Is it Nevada or is it the UFC that will kind of judge on this?
Yeah, again, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I think, you know, first things first, we're going to, you know, go through that plan that I walked through earlier. Whether it's a question of assault, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Jorge was very classy after beating Darren, wasn't he, in his post-fight interview?
Yeah.
Can you comment about what he did after his post-fight interview?
Comment about what he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw in the video, he seemed to react to something. And then melee ensued, and that's really all the details that I have. I mean, tough for me to comment on that type of behavior. I wasn't there, I didn't see it, I don't know what provoked, and you know, we'll handle it in the best way we do. I mean, we deal with situations all the time, good and bad, and I think we've got a good process for dealing with these types of things, and so we'll see what happens in the next couple of days.
Thank you.
No problem. All right.
I have I have one more, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Given everything that's happened this evening and the controversial incident that we had at the end, there is some precedent when it comes to rivalries being dealt with inside the octagon. Leon Edwards called for the winner of the main event after his win.
He did.
I believe from the limited footage that we've been able to see that the exchange was surrounding the potential of those two fighting. I don't think they counted on it happening quite so quickly, but that's something that Leon clearly wants. Is that a way of sort of resolving the dispute, actually getting them in the cage, booking a fight, and doing it within the rules of mixed martial arts rather than having everything outside of it?
Yeah, I think as far as we're concerned, this goes back to, our priority of making sure everyone's safe. So that's our concern right now. We're not concerned about, the acrimony or the hatred between these two guys and this spat that occurred. That's not, our focus. I think for us, if this fight makes sense, given where the rankings are, given availability of fighters, given the timing and the location of the city, and it makes sense to pull that fight together, I'm sure Dana will. I don't believe that it'll be driven by things that occur like this outside the octagon. And listen, I absolutely cannot put words into his mouth. I just know that if that fight was meant to be before, it'll probably continue to be so. And if not, we move on and find another matchup.
On a more positive note, I wondered if you could comment on Nathaniel Wood's performance. He's fought in this building many times in the smaller Indigo arena for Cage Warriors and has always had a great reception and put on some amazing performances. He now has done it in the big arena and he seems to be on the up and up now in the UFC. I wondered if you could comment on his performance, a new rising star for the UK.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can tell by the reaction that he got from fans, how beloved he is in this city. He seemed to get a really strong reaction in the last few cities that he's fought in for the UFC. And to get that sub in the second round, I think meant a lot to people. I think it's one of those things where now he got a pretty stacked bantamweight division, and he's definitely sent a message to the rest of his potential adversaries. So yeah, listen, it's nice to have a guy like him come up and look so impressive in his performances.
Hey, just a quick one. You talk about separating Leon and Jorge. How far does your jurisdiction go? Like, if they're both staying at the same hotel, do you guys have security there? Do you move one of them from a different hotel, or how does it work?
Yeah, it's obviously not a wise move to talk about some of the plans with everyone here about what we want to do, but the spirit of my previous comment reigns through. Whether it's here, whether it's there, our goal is to make sure everyone's safe, and that will involve a number of different steps. And you got to remember the guys that we have making these decisions, how competent, how sophisticated, and how much experience our security team has. They're used to dealing with some pretty incendiary situations in their past lives, and so we're grateful to have them. But yeah, we're obviously not going to get into details about that. So I just want to say thanks to all of you. We have the fortune of being in many great cities around the world, and the media support that we've had this week has been as big as any city I can remember. So I appreciate all your support in not only the event tonight, but the sport of MMA and UFC. So thanks very much. Hope everyone gets home safe.